What's up, everybody? This is Eric from Easy Computer Solutions. So I got the Galaxy S10 Plus, and a lot of people have been asking me to do another tutorial video about Filmic Pro. Now, Filmic Pro is a professional camera app that I use on this YouTube channel to do all kinds of cinematic footage and everything in between, and it's fantastic. Now, as you know, with the native camera app, you're missing some features such as Pro Mode when it comes down to video recording. Well, Filmic Pro fix some of those issues when it comes down to video recording. If you're a small YouTube channel and you want to start off and you got the Galaxy Note 10 or you got the Galaxy S10, which I have here to do this video, Filmic Pro is a fantastic app to use instead of the native camera app. And I'm going to give you a tutorial and explain to you why I will pick Filmic Pro versus any other camera app out there. So sit back and relax and get your popcorn ready and follow me on this journey. Let's go. What's up, guys? This is Eric back with another video. So I got the Galaxy S10 Plus here, and a lot of you guys always request that if I do Filmic Pro videos or do all kinds of videos and tutorials, don't do it on the Galaxy Note because a lot of people still don't have the Galaxy Notes yet. All right, that's fine. I got Filmic Pro here, and I'm gonna tell you the difference between the native camera app and Filmic Pro. Now, when you open up the native camera app, all right, it's missing some things, right? It's missing Pro Mode and video, and that is a devastating thing, especially if you want to record videos and you got a lot of focus hunting and stuff like that. You can't change your white balance and stuff like that. I explained that in a lot of previews in my videos, and as you can see, once you're using the native camera app and you change scenarios, you notice the white balance, and this is I mean, absolutely awful. And as you can see on camera, once I get into a different environment, the light is pretty blown out, and then once I get to a different environment, the light is definitely darker. And for filmmakers, this is a no-go, especially when you're trying to film and you're going to different lighting scenarios. You can't control your white balance. Man, I cannot film definitely using the camera app when you got difference of changes of white balance and ISO and all that stuff like that. So the camera app, when it comes down to video, is no good. But this is where Filmic Pro come in. Again, this is a professional software editing tool that I use on my YouTube channel. So let me give you a brief tutorial about Filmic Pro, and I'm gonna show you, and I got some props back here, how Filmic Pro works. All right, so when you open up the Filmic Pro app, and I'm gonna make my adjustments with the camera here real quick. All right, so when you open up Filmic Pro, you have a lot of features here down here, a lot of controls, a lot of different things that you need to be aware of. So when you open it up, boom, you got everything here ready to go. Let's talk about some of the settings real quick. So when you toggle here, you have your resolution settings, and let's go to the resolution. Right now at 1080p, you could do extreme, you could go up to 4K. For demonstration of this video, and I'm gonna talk about this here, I prefer 4K, but a lot of y'all guys was asking questions about different frame rates. And when you go into your frame rates, here it is. You got 24 frames per second, 25 frames per second, you got 30 frames per second, you got 120 frames per second, and 240 frames per second. Now, some of the issues that Samsung devices had was that they did not give access to the different frame rates. Now, at 1080p, you can get the different frame rates here at 30 frames per second and 120 and 240 frames per second for that slow-mo effect. But if you go back to the resolution and you go all the way back to 4K, right, then you run into a different issue when it comes down to frame rates, and it does not give you no access to 60 or 120 and 240 frames per second at a 4K resolution. Let's go ahead and go to audio. If you got external mics, this is important also, external mics. You can change from the camera microphone to external mics in the app of Filmic Pro, which is great. Now you have your presets. I got my presets here. As you can see, log quality, and I'm gonna talk about log a little bit here in this video. Here, let's talk about hardware. This is where it gets important here. I got the DJI Osmos Mobile. It's already synced to this device, and what these items does is it works with Filmic Pro, and these are gimbals, by the way. It works with Filmic Pro seamlessly. So this is built-in software that Filmic Pro did with these companies here to make the app work with the gimbal without you touching the screen. All right, then you have your camera settings. Again, this is another tool that I like here with the camera settings. So you can go wide angle lens, and it does use the wide angle lens, which is great. You can do the selfie, and you have the more telephoto lens. All right, then you have sync and community and stuff like that. So that is some of the settings here with Filmic Pro. All right, let's talk about some of the other things with Filmic Pro. Now I have the full paid version of Filmic Pro. All right, just so you know, it's like 30 bucks, 35 bucks or whatever. I got the paid version because I use Filmic Pro on all my shoots. So I'm using the full version of Filmic Pro. Now, when I go into here, this is going to be confusing to some people, but not for me. Filmmakers, we already know how this stuff works. I usually shoot in flat or log. And this is log version 2, and I'm gonna tell you one of the reasons why I shoot in log version 2 is because it's a flat profile. When you in post, you got to do color grading where you're using log and you're using flat profiles. Now this is again for professional video editing and stuff like that. If you want to use color grading with lux packs and stuff like that, this is the way to go right here between log version 2 and flat profile. Now, if you don't want to do color corrections and stuff like that at post, you go to either natural, which is going to give you more of a natural look, something more like the native camera app, or if you go to dynamic kind of boosts up the colors a little bit with dynamic. Now, I either use natural, flat, or log. I very seldom use dynamic, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to keep it on natural because I do not want to do any color grading. All right, and here you can change your saturation and your vibrancy. And again, these are some of the unique tools in making your video very professional looking and stuff like that. So now, one of the key to the games here is once you get into some of the white balance and scenarios like that, once you find a good color match that you like for your profile, you want to click here and lock it. See, I'm locking my white balance. All right, so let's also talk about some of the unique tools here. As you can see, you got one bubble here, you have a bubble here, which this here is for your, again, white balance, which I just like the white balance. And you can change your white balance on the fly, but here is your focusing points. This is where it gets serious because focusing is so important, especially when you got focus hunting and stuff like that. As you watching this video, I have it on manual focus. So with this camera I'm using right here, it's on manual focus. So if I put my hand here, it's not gonna focus. It won't change no focus in here because I have it on manual focus, which I'm using the LG G8. But you could change some of your focus in here with this device. All right, so let's talk about some more controls here at the bottom. So if you're not using the gimbal, when you press this button down here, now you have controls over your focusing and stuff like that. And I have a prop up here, and I'm going to show you guys really quick some of the things that I'm talking about here. I'm gonna move the camera up a little bit, and as you can see, again, I have my device right now on fixed focus, so you can see that it is a little blurred out in the back. But if you're not using a gimbal with this device, and I want to show you guys, kind of move this out of the way a little bit, and boom. So as you can see, the device is, I got it on focus right here. You see focus. All right, and if you move, let's go here. And if you move it up and down, if you go up, you could tell that it's blurred out. Now I use this in a lot of my videos, by the way. Now, this is what we call manual focus right here. So if I'm doing a B-roll or something, I get it right in focus, right there in focus, and I'm good to go. Now, since I have it locked on that focus, if something comes closer, if I move it closer, right, and you can start to see that it will probably lose focus a little bit, but as you can see, it's locked right there on focus. And if I move it up and down, boom, as you can see, it lose focus a little bit like that. And then if I move it back, it gets in focus. It's because I got it so far away on focus right now. But you have to kind of play around with it to get it perfectly when it comes down to focus. All right, so they do have another what's called zoom in and out. So I just press the side here, and now I'm able to zoom in and out. Now, as you can see, I can zoom from the telephoto lens all the way to the wide angle lens, and I can go close up on the product, even though I got the zoom, the focus is locked. And as I can move closer on there, you see now I don't have any focus issues because I can zoom in and out and I got my focus locked. This is important, very important, when it comes down to filmmaking. Now on this side here, this is where you can adjust your white balance and your ISO. Look at that. As you can see, if you want to make your scene a little brighter, you could open up the aperture. Right now I'm at 1.5, and then you could change it to 2.4 aperture, and I could go back to 1.5 aperture, and boom, as you can see, there it is. And okay, so another unique feature that I want to touch bases on here is once you click this button at the bottom, look like an A, then you get into some more features here, like focus peaking and stuff like that, the zebra. And this is very good if you're out and about and you want to know how good the focus is on a product. So just say, for instance, right there, you can see that it's out of focus. You go to focus peaking, and this will help you out a whole lot in what's called focusing. So as I'm moving the focus reel here, as you can see, that logo there is turning green. That is the purpose of focus peaking. And so what you want to get to is a nice solid green color there when you're focusing on the product. So right there at the bottom, you can see that it's completely focused, and you can tell that the Motorola sign is green around. You can tell that my hand that's going around it is green also. This is very, very important, especially when you're trying to get something in focus. Now, let's go on to turn off focus peaking. All right. There it is. So as you can see, the Motorola sign right there is completely in focus. Now, if I move it, right, as you can see, it's out of focus. But that's what focus peaking is. You do have some other scenarios here that kind of talk a little bit about your ISO and the white balance and stuff like that. So the red there saying that it's a little too bright. You can make your adjustments accordingly to try to get everything kind of chilled a little bit, because right now it's definitely bright. All right, and again, you do have some more features here. Your zebra, if you got a DSLR camera, you kind of know what the zebra is. Again, this whole focus of this app is about professionalism, and as you can see, you can always use autofocus. As you can see, once I click that, and it's autofocus, and once I lock it, once I move away, let's see if I can move the device up a little bit. Once I move away, it's gonna go out of focus. As you can see, it's completely out of focus right now. But if I do go to autofocus, there it is. So it will autofocus. But you know, hey, and you can use autofocus. It works, but you do have, sometimes you get focus hunting, especially if you're going pretty quick. But you can tell right now, it is out of focus. This is why I don't like autofocus, is because of this. All right, guys, so I'm using the Galaxy S10 Plus and Filmic Pro, and I want to kind of give you guys some commentary on how I'll do things here. And as you can see, I'm completely blurred out, and I'm using the smooth forward to kind of get everything in focus. And look at that. So if you notice, this part of the tree is focused, and the background is kind of losing focus a little bit. But if I go straight background, if you notice that now the tree has lost focus a little bit and the foreground has focus. And I'm doing all this here manually straight from the gimbal, which is a great tool here. And as I go here, as now that the plant is in focus and the background is out of focus. And that's part of the good uniqueness with using Filmic Pro, that you have full controls over everything. Now, y'all guys see me do a lot of cinematic footage videos here on this YouTube channel, and I like doing them. It's very, very good. And one of the things that y'all guys see me do a lot here on this channel is that grass effect. So I want to kind of show y'all guys how I do that. Basically, what I do is I have a monopod, and so with the monopod I go all the way to the ground here with the gimbal, and I just kind of pan forward like that, so y'all guys can see that effect. And I'm not doing no color grading on this one, and I have the white balance is locked, so you won't see no white balance shifting. And yeah, so that's one of the unique things about this here, is that you got full control over everything. Now, one of the things I want to let y'all guys see real quick is that you can change your white balance. Now let me go to auto white balance. All right, I went to auto white balance, and as you can see, the sky got a whole lot bluer. And if I move the cursor around a little bit, now you start to see that the sky is a whole lot blue, and then the other parts of the scenery is a little darker. So there it is. And I want to kind of get this all in here. And I do a lot of cinematic videos and stuff like that. So, you know, once you do your B-rolls and stuff like that I do on the YouTube channel, you guys get to see all that good stuff like that. And I'm out here at the park having some fun, as I always use this spot to film, because there's usually nobody out there. But just say if you do your B-rolls, right? And let me go ahead on to change the focus a little bit. I'm gonna use autofocus. Use autofocus, right? And I can lock my focus if I want to, and I can change. But yes, you can use autofocus, and you know, sometimes autofocus don't work. This is one of the reasons why I kind of use manual focus. But yeah, so autofocus, and this happens on the native camera app also. Sometimes it can't distinguish the difference between the background and the foreground. But if you lock your focus, or if you go into a different scenario where you can change your focus and stuff like that. So right there, I can kind of go into a blur effect, right? And then I can go in on and get it in focus, like right there. All right, so now I got the device in focus, and then I can pan around. Yes, and y'all see this a lot on my YouTube channel. Boom, there it is. I want to kind of give you guys some, you know, some thoughts about when I use gimbals and Filmic Pro and all this stuff like that. And you guys see a lot of things that happening on this channel. And I try to, you know, have a, you know, an open dialogue with you guys about everything here in between. And as I have my white balance locked, as you can see, as I go into the deepness of the tree here, now it's completely dark. Now I can change my white balance. I click, and now I change my white balance, and there it is. So now my white balance is locked. As you can see, the sky is kind of blown out, but the interior here is lighted up. So yes, and then as I do my cinematic footage, go behind a tree like that. Now this is good if you're in a dark scene, since the white balance is locked. But once you get into a lighter scene, as you can see that the sky is completely blown out. So you have to kind of either do some, you know, color grading, or maybe do some changing of something right hit there, or you could go to another scene and just change your white balance a little bit, and boom, there it is, right? I just want to kind of give you guys some commentary on how I do some of the cinematic footage here on this YouTube channel. Now you could do slow motion, you could change your focus points, you could do everything in between with the Smooth 4 and Filmic Pro and stuff like that, using gimbals, which is nice, right? Boom. Yes, and you can get the good color there. And let's see if we can get that sky nice and blue. There it is. So this coming straight from the Galaxy S10 Plus. No color grading here at all. And you can always change your white balance as you go along. And I'm just changing it just for the video purposes. This is Eric from Easy Computer Solutions. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about Filmic Pro in all its glory. See you guys on the next video. Peace.